Thousands of Massachusetts commuters start their day with this guy.
Cool. It's time for the Morning Shade at Magic 106.7.
David O'Leary, host of Morning Magic. Though he's known for his fun on-air personality, what he's doing off-air is seriously making a difference, saving lives.
I am chair of the board of the Greater Boston chapter of the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. We're the largest nonprofit funder of research in the United States. We'll fund about $5 million in research grants to find warning signs for suicide, research causes of suicide.
What are some of the biggest problems in how we talk about this topic?
I think one of the biggest problems of how we talk about mental health and suicide is we don't talk about it. Your mental health is every bit as important as your physical health. You know, and if you've got high blood pressure or you've got a broken arm, you go to the emergency room and you see someone and you get it fixed. And if you're struggling with your mental health, you should get that fixed as well. And by the way, you can.
Do you think that's the heart of the problem in some ways, that we need to, as a society, learn how to deal with mental health and be able to talk to it and not feel that stigma, not feel that shame?
I do. I think that's a problem. There have been two very high-profile suicides in a matter of a couple of days, Anthony Bourdain and Kate Spade. It's very good that people sort of sat up and paid attention and were willing to talk a little bit about mental health. And what I heard quite a bit was, wow, they seem like they had it all. How could that person take their life? None of us can really know. And I might add, in addition to those two very famous people who died by suicide that week, 860 other people in the U.S. died by suicide. The numbers are not going in the right direction. They're going up. Some of that may be reporting. Some of that may be that people are a little more willing to acknowledge that someone died by suicide in a way that even 10 years ago that they weren't.
How can we as a society bring about hope?
Suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. AFSP has been involved in support of this wonderful new campaign. It's called Seize the Awkward.
Awkward.
It's targeted primarily to millennials. The idea for any of us is to just say, hey, how you doing?
Are you okay?
The hope would be that you're going to save another family from going through maybe what your family went through.
Another way the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention is making a difference is by uniting survivors of suicide across the country and inviting them to join hands and walk.
I walk because my daughter, Sarah Devins, died by suicide.
I walk in honor of my son.
I lost my mom to suicide in 2009.
I walk to bring suicide out of the darkness.
Out of the Darkness Walks are both a staple fundraiser for AFSP as well as a way for survivors to support each other. When Jeannie Brown Dawson lost her cousin to suicide, the North Shore Walk was born.
My cousin and I, as teenagers, would bike around this lake, would walk around this lake, so I thought, what better place to honor her memory? It started very small.
Growing from humble beginnings, the walk is now an annual pilgrimage for 1,400 people, each with their own story. Sally Willard is a mother who didn't immediately connect with suicide prevention.
I didn't want to have anything to do with it because my daughter had succeeded in dying by suicide. And so what's prevention? Prevention didn't exist in my vocabulary.
For Willard, now a regular here, walking isn't about closure.
I want to talk about it. I want to say that my daughter died by suicide. I'm not going to hide it. And in that way, I'm offering myself to be somebody that another survivor can feel free to connect with. Nobody else understands what you're going through except another survivor.
We all get beads, and certain colors represent certain things. Gold is, the loss of a parent. So you can see in the crowd everybody wearing gold beads, and you're like, I'm literally there with you.
Nationally, the event is a fundraiser, but here, all that is required is a desire to bring suicide out of the darkness.
It's like throwing a pebble into the pond. It makes a big ripple. And it's just the feeling that you get out of it, it's good.
And you might have noticed that everyone in our story uses phrases like died by suicide or death by suicide and not committed suicide, and there's a reason for that.
Yeah, the reason is that the AFSP argues that it implies someone committed a sin or a crime. The organization urges the media to say died by suicide instead. It also counsels against describing suicide methods in great detail in case it would become a trigger to those at risk as well.